The door of the house shut firmly behind them. Lot took a deep breath as the echo of the city faded behind the walls. His hands were tense. The strangers had accepted his plea, but the unease did not leave him. The night was just beginning, and in Sodom, nightfall stirred everything into motion. He called for water to wash their feet and asked his wife and daughters to prepare unleavened bread. On the table, he set tender meat, fresh fruit, and milk. The light of the lamps cast soft shadows on the stone walls, and for a moment, inside that small refuge, the noise of the city felt far away. The strangers ate in silence. Their faces were calm, but there was something in their presence Lot couldn't quite grasp. They showed no signs of fatigue, no trace of surprise at their surroundings. It was as if they already knew every corner of the city before even setting foot in it. The flames of the lamps flickered with a gust of wind that slipped in beneath the door. Outside, the murmur of voices grew louder. Laughter, hurried footsteps, whispers multiplying in number. Lot felt a weight on his chest. The danger he had tried to avoid had arrived sooner than expected. A sharp knock echoed against the door, then another, and another still. The wood trembled under the pounding fists, demanding attention. The voices no longer whispered. They now roared with impatience. What had been a place of refuge just minutes before was now the final wall between good and horror. The torchlight cast long shadows across the narrow streets. Laughter and the bustle of the night mingled with the scent of wine and roasted meat. The city gave itself over to its usual rhythm, unaware that this evening would not be like the others. But something had shifted. The eyes of certain men turned toward Lot's house. Strangers, two outsiders, had entered the gates of Sodom at sunset, and they hadn't been seen in the squares or at the feasts. They hadn't joined the songs or the dances, nor had they bought anything in the markets. They had arrived quietly, walking with the confidence of those who fear no one. And now, they were hidden inside that house. The whispers spread quickly. At first, it was just a few, but soon the curiosity grew like a spark caught in the wind. Who were they? Why had Lot taken them into his home? The voices multiplied. Quick footsteps echoed through the alleyways, gathering more people at every corner. Before long, a crowd had formed in the square. Dozens at first, then hundreds. Wine fueled the frenzy. Words turned into shouts, and shouts into demands. The mob surged toward Lot's house like an unstoppable wave. The first stone struck the door, then another, then a fist, then many. "Bring out the men who came to you tonight." The chorus rose with fury. The shadows of Sodom had awakened. The pounding on Lot's door grew louder. The shadows of the men stretched across the walls, twisted by the flickering torchlight swaying in the wind. The voices were no longer whispers or murmurs of suspicion. They were shouts. "Bring them out! Hand them over!" Fists struck the wood with fury, impatient, relentless. This was not a plea for answers or explanations. It was a demand for submission. Inside, Lot felt the weight of the inevitable. His home, once a refuge amid the chaos, was now the only barrier between the crowd and their prey. He swallowed hard, placed his hand on the trembling wood, and turned the latch. Outside, the torches lit faces twisted by impatience and desire. There were merchants, judges, young men, and old. None of them hesitated in what they demanded. "We saw the men who came to your house. Bring them out so we may know them." The words carried intentions that needed no explanation.